Не знаю даже, сможет ли сохраниться такой этнос, как русский народ, в том виде, в котором есть сегодня. Ну, будут московиты какие-нибудь там, уральцы и так далее.
All ever existed empires are inevitably united by one fact: they fell apart. In the 21st century, it is impossible to come across news like Italy is attacking Egypt because it was once part of the Roman Empire. However, there is still one country that, disguised first as communism and then as a pseudo-democracy, is trying to conquer new territories. It is Russia. It is a terrorist state with a multi-million population consisting of 190 peoples. However, they came under the rule of Muscovy not because of their emigration, but through Russia's seizure of their territories. The enslaved peoples in Russia live in their own ethnic territories, which Moscow captured, exterminating part of their ethnic groups through repression, famine, and wars. The likelihood of war, Moscow's myrmidons in power, the absence of borders with external territories, and the lack of international support were the reasons why Tatarstan, Bashkortostan, Chuvashia, Sakha, Kalmykia, Buryatia, and many other republics remained part of Russia. The following policy of the Russian Federation was built around the titular nation, and despite the figure of 190 peoples, all humans in Russia had to identify themselves in only one way. Still, arriving for instance in Moscow, people with a Russian passport but of a different nationality face racism, being called names Guk, Slant-eyed, etc. The Russian authorities condemned any desire to preserve one's national identity, called it nationalistic, or classified it as extremism and thus banned it. Most of Russia's resources come from the territories of the captive nations. There is no Russian gas and oil. There are Siberian, Tatar and Bashkir ones. There is no Russian gold and diamonds. There are Buryat and Yakut ones. And if before, in exchange for human resources, Russia offered the status of a citizen of a superpower with the second army of the world, the war against Ukraine shook this social contract. Therefore, the growing urge of various peoples within Russia to rebel against the Kremlin's policy is quite understandable. Moreover, military volunteer units with representatives of Ichkeria, Dagestan, Bashkortostan, and Siberia take part in the war against Russia on the side of Ukraine. And Karelians, Oirat Kalmyks, Ingrians, Ingush, Uralians, Tatars, Nogais, and Circassians are creating their own self-defense forces. There were vigorous protests against mobilization in Dagestan. The representatives of the enslaved peoples are waging a hidden struggle against Putin's regime, which is led by their leaders in exile. Moreover, the public platform Free Nations of Post-Russia Forum operates in exile. It unites representatives of Ingria, Ichkeria, Bashkortostan, the Republic of Kalmykia, the Republic of Sakha, Buryatia, Siberia, Tatarstan, Circassia, Karelia, Komi, and many others. The return of their sovereignty will help these countries quickly become prosperous, peaceful, and developed independent states that will have the opportunity to become part of a new architecture of collective security without the insane nuclear imperial Muscovy with its terrorism and aggression. Gas and minerals will once again become the commodity of individual free states and not the instrument of influence of the terrorist state on the collective West. The Moscow Empire has been fallen apart for almost 100 years now. In 1917, the liberation of Suomi, the Baltic States, and Poland. 1991, the cessation of Ukraine, Belarus, Kazakhstan, Armenia, and others. It is time for the third, final stage of the collapse of the terrorist empire. Freedom for all enslaved nations and colonies of Moscow.